Hey peeps, DJMK here. Welcome to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. In the last episode, we've gone through quite a lot. From doubts about royal legitimacy to a crystal that gets corrupted by negative energy but don't know what the source is, to the revelation of past... How do I even say it? I guess war experience? I guess I could easily sum that up. And forgiveness, which is the overall message of this game, I guess. But yeah, we are back. We are doing Waltz's route again. And of course, I am not doing it alone.
Hello.
Yep, Tobias Tantalus is back again. So yeah. This game has gotten to some pretty interesting places, so I'm excited to see where this chapter is going to go next.
Where it stops, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. And hopefully we'll be able to answer the question, is there actually a bad ending to this? Who knows? But then again, this is after the happily ever after, so maybe either way it's a good ending, but there is a better ending in here. Who knows?
I mean, if they have a bad ending, they'll just have to make another game to finish that one up.
That means they have an excuse. Alright, let me see. Alright. So, there was another chapter. So this was the end of a chapter, and the beginning of another one, which I forget what it's called. Let me see. Trying to find the name of if there's a name for this chapter, because I feel like we
was it the skeletons in the closet?
I thought that was it. Yeah, let's go with that.
His name is Jerry.
So yeah, here we go, and that's it for the report. Dolores steps back, arms crossed. What do you think, Lucette? I sift through the stack of papers on the desk, eyes narrowed in concentration. Dolores and some of the other witches under my employ have been looking for information about last week's arson attack. There has been no word of a confession or apology from the witch who started the fire. And now I'm thinking if we didn't start the fire again. It's a fairly straightforward case, but nonetheless... We will have him speak before the counselors and witnesses at the end of the week. Hopefully then he will finally confess something. Good luck. He's as stubborn as a rock. In the chair in front of me, Waltz smiles.
Have you told Laura about the other thing you've been planning, Lucette?
Other thing? I turned to Laura. Next week is the anniversary of the day Angel was saved. It's the day that I lost my mother, again, and the day Angel became peaceful once more. Oh, right. Any fancy celebratory things happening this year?
I may have suggested something special.
Like? I hope you did not. I do not need a fancy celebration. Every year...
the people might.
Yeah, like what the people party people. Every year the townsfolk decorate the town with lilies to thank me for what I did. And every year Waltz tries to plan some special event on the anniversary. This year, he will not be the only one coming up with a surprise. I shake my head to clear it. I can think about the surprise I have planned for Waltz later, but for now, I need to focus on the anniversary celebration. Fancy celebrations aside, I would at least like to give a speech this year. Don't you do that every year? Yes, but I normally address the populace as the Queen of Angel. I look at her resolute. This year, I will give a speech as the Tannenbaum bearer. Oh! Okay. Here we go. Ooh, this is a tough one, though. Actually, maybe not. Because, like, her being contrary to her dad, it feels a little weird, especially considering how much sympathy she's had for him.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, do I remember a lot about what happened with her dad?
So, like, a little bit of context. So, for a little bit of context here, so in the OG Cinderella phenomenon, Lucette and her dad, King Gennaro, had a little bit of a contentious relationship for the longest time. But then, as you go on, at least with Waltz's ending, you kind of find out more and more that it turns out the reason why Gennaro has been so distant from Lucette is because her mother was basically controlling of everything, including their relationship. And, like, Gennaro would make, like, little things to ensure that, like, Lucette knew that he at least cared a little bit for her, but any, like, full-on display of affection, like, Hildur would basically try to kill him on sight, essentially. So it made him feel like a distant leader, even though he wasn't. So I guess that's where the "I am not my father" part is coming in, maybe. But on the other hand, the better than mother one makes a lot more sense, considering that, like, they lived under fear of her for years. And then on top of that, she also is a Tenebrarum bearer, which is what her mother had before. And so, yeah, I think I might make my decision here. I think I'm gonna go with the second option. I will show them I'm better than mother, because everybody basically looked at Lucette as her mother by association.
Yeah, it's kind of like, do I say I'm not going to be a distant ruler, or I'm not going to be an overbearing tyrant? I feel like one of them is more important to convey.
Yeah, because, like, she's pretty involved as is, so I think the second option would make 10 times more sense. Because Tenebrarum bearer to Tenebrarum bearer. Lucette, the corrupted witches are few and far between. You have the support of most of us. You weren't chosen by the Tenebrarum, after all. Even so, it means nothing that if I am not actively showing the witches what I am doing to help them. Besides, townspeople often forget I myself am a witch. I think it would be good to remind them that I have that blood in my veins.
I think it's a good idea. But I also think you don't need to compare yourself to your mother. People know you're better than Hildur, Lucette.
On the one hand, yeah, but on the other hand, there are some people who may still have that anxiety, and of course there's the witch in the prison who was like, "Not my queen." Hashtag not my queen.
Yeah, I'm like, it's one of those things I'm sure people logically know and comprehend, but, like, emotionally and when they're making their decisions, there's still that influence.
Exactly.
Underneath.
You saved Angiel from her. You worked with Parfait to bring this conflict to an end. But I am still her daughter. But I mean, come on, do they not know? But, like, well, I mean, we often hear it's the sins of the father, but not really, like, I mean, you could totally put the sins of the mother in there too, and it totally works.
That has no bearing on this situation. You inherited the Tenebrarum from her, maybe, but you couldn't be any more different from her.
Still, my mother actively sought out the counsel of other witches and made an effort to hear them. I feel like I should do the same thing, just in a different way. It sounds like you have a lot more than a speech in mind. I have a proposition. I clench my hands on my lap and take a deep breath. I have been mulling over this latest idea with Waltz for the last few days. I realized recently that I only employ witches for security purposes. But if all of us, humans, witches, and fairies, are to exist together in harmony, they must have more of a say in what happens in this kingdom. Are we gonna get a parliament? Let's see. I would like to add witches and fairies to the council. I called it! I finally called something for once. Oh!
What?
Yeah, like Dolores like, oh, what? Delora gapes at me. Waltz, on the other hand, is smiling brightly. What? Is it a bad idea? Not at all. Actually, it's pretty brilliant. Your mother kept only witch advisors, and your father's counselors are all human. If you can bring in witches and fairies, you'll be showing everyone you're actively pushing for more inclusivity. Woke politics! There we go. Magical woke politics. Exactly.
I mean, they live in this country. They should have a voice.
There you go. Everybody, whether magical or human, should have a voice. Delora falls back in her... What was my voice doing? Oh my gosh. Okay, where was I? Delora falls back in her chair with a little laugh. You and Cinna never fail to amaze me. Yeah, even Lucettes never ceases to amaze me sometimes as well. And I've played her for a year. I have to thank Cinna for his advice, even if it was a little brusque. Do you think he would speak at this year's anniversary as the Lucis Bearer if I asked him? Dolores snorts. He's so self-important, he'd probably ask why you didn't invite him to do it earlier. She stands from her chair with a stretch. Do you want me to extend the invitation to him? No? I shall do it personally. I think he would be offended if I passed the message on to you. Fair enough. Delora looks at Waltz. Are you coming back with me to the tavern?
Of course. Can't disappoint the kids.
Oh yeah! I forgot! He trades magical kids in there too. He glances at me.
Are you sure you don't want to tag along for the magic lesson? It's always fun to watch the kids practice their magic.
Aw. Oh yes, Waltz's magic lessons. I do plan on visiting him during his lessons today, even though he does not know it. But first, there is something I must do. I have to organize the paperwork first. I'll see you at the march-in later. We'll see you then, Your Majesty. Waltz stands and leans over to plant a kiss on my head. Oh!
I'll see you later, little star.
I wait a couple minutes after they leave to exit the room. It's too cute! I will not lie. It's too cute! I mean, it's literally what her name means in French, but still. The person I'm looking for is in the dining hall, absently spooning soup into his mouth as Emmeline talks at length about something he clearly has no interest in. It's Rod, isn't it? Let's see. He looks up as I approach. Yep, it's Rod. He's such a hilarious character when Sebby at least doesn't break his snark. Snark, I mean. Sebby's the bunny on his shoulder, who was basically his voice for like a good majority of his story, which is the Little Mermaid curse. So I think he communicated telepathically for the most part. So that's how people were able to understand him, but it wasn't his true voice. So he telepathically communicated, but then Sebby kind of communicated his true feeling or his true voice, and it's hilarious. Sebby technically still does that, but it's...
So you just talk through the bunny?
Talk through the bunny. If anything, you might be more effective just talking to the bunny than you are with Rod most of the time. You'll see it when you get to his story, which is getting closer to the end of this playthrough. But it's hilarious.
Anyway. There you are.
Oh, hello, Lucette. Did you and Rod have plans?
No, she's just here for this.
Rob reaches into his pocket and pulls out a little box, which he hands it to me.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding onto this for me. Is that? Yes. Days ago, when I went to town looking for the items stored in this box, I visited Emmeline to discuss this gift with her. That same day, Rod walked in our conversation and offered to keep it hidden in his room until I needed it. I found it strange at the time that Emmeline did not immediately offer, but she confessed Rod is better at keeping secrets than she is. Which I can tell.
Is Lucette gonna propose? Is it like an engagement ring?
I have a feeling it is. And also, I can totally... Yeah, it makes sense with Emmeline. Emmeline is just not great at keeping secrets. I can kind of tell that from the first game, at least. The confession did not...
Best intentions, and we love her, but...
We love you, but we know. I mean, even she... Thank goodness she also knows that it's not her strongest suit. The confession did not surprise me in the slightest. Still, I am grateful for Rod's offer. Plus, I mean, on top of that, considering Rod's curse that he had before, it would make total sense why he would be the best one at keeping secrets. And here's a little plot twist. Rod got cursed voluntarily. Yeah, we'll go into that later, but let's see about this box. Waltz is awfully intuitive. If I left the surprise for him in my room, he probably would have realized I was hiding something. Emmeline beams. Oh wait, what if it's the box I'm thinking? Maybe it's a different box that I'm thinking of. Because that's like the only other thing I could think of. It's like this one other box that was big to Waltz's story of him turning back into a full-size human witch. I think that's the box that she's hiding, but let's see. Emmeline beams. Today's the day you're going to give it to him, then? Yes. I can't wait to hear all about it. Rod sighs.
It'll be a nice change of topic at dinner tonight.
Realist. He looks pointedly at Emmeline.
It'll be nice not to hear about Prince Lance for a change.
I mean, that was kind of like I had a very similar thing with one of my friends, but it was the opposite actually. Like in the beginning of this situation, the quarantine was basically all we could talk about, and one of my friends, you know her, she has a boyfriend all the way in Sicily, and she was like apologizing, like, I'm sorry, am I talking about him too much? And we were like, no, we need something else to talk about. It's the one distraction we have. So Prince Lance is the quarantine.
We need to know there's still a world out there.
Exactly. Though, I bet this line's not gonna age well the next year. Who knows? Emmeline flushes. You asked what he said in his last letter.
That was a long time ago, Em. You've been talking about him for a whole hour.
Emmeline buries her face in her hands. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent again. At least she's aware. Rod sighs.
Just let Prince Lance fill in some of the details when he arrives.
When I look at him quizzically, Rod shrugs.
Prince Lance wrote in his most recent letter that he and Claude planned on visiting for this year's anniversary.
Oh yeah, because he was part of it too. He said he would be arriving sometime this week, but it's a surprise when.
Every day, Em wakes up and asks if there have been reports of their carriage on the border.
Rod? Rod dips his head slightly, as if to hide a smile. He is satisfied by this, clearly. It's like, got something to hold over my sister. Rod, perhaps if you spoke more about your own affairs, Emmeline would not have to film the silence with talk of Prince Lance. Oh, shade!
So what's going on in your life, maybe?
Rod scoffs.
I have nothing to talk about.
Mood. You always say that when it's not true. Lucette, did you know Rod received flowers from a secret admirer when he was out in town yesterday? Oh!
M?
A triangle of collateral. There we go.
Oh, look at him blushing.
I told him he ought to write a letter back, but he refused. Emmeline told me once that Rob was in love with one of her friends, the one at the toy shop in Viorica. Oh my god! That was who he was in love with? I had no idea. But that love was which once flared so brightly blew out years ago when Viorica married. It's strange to think of Rod in love, even now. Oh!
I've never seen him ooh and ah. There's no point in giving someone false hope when you're not interested in them.
Oof, that's a leap of faith, though. Then who would interest you? Emmeline puts her hands on the table and leans forward. Then who would interest you? Lucette and I can try to set you up with someone. No. No.
No. Lucetta's just like, leave me out of this.
The two of us speak in unison before exchanging relieved glances. No? I am terrible at matchmaking. I don't believe that.
I've told you 1,000,000 times I'm not interested, Em. I'd rather listen to you talk all day about Prince Lance than have you try to set me up with someone.
Wow. The words come out a groan. If you insist. It occurs to me belatedly that I do not have time for this conversation. I step away from the table. I will leave you two to your conversation. For now, I have a delivery to make. Emmeline's eyes are sparkling when she smiles at me. Good luck, Lucette.
Good luck.
I offer my sincerest thanks to both of them before heading to my room. I need to move this gift into another box. One I think that will be appropriate. About an hour later, I set off to town with the bag in hand. Accompanied by two knights, I make my way toward the food stalls where I purchase an assortment of chocolate.
Oh, is she going to move the ring into the other box that was like his special box or whatever?
That I'm assuming it's a ring but yes, I'm assuming there is like another special box that basically was the key for Waltz's curse to break, and it also happened to be one of Lucette's favorites. So, I would not be surprised if the box were stored in there, but we'll see if it goes that far. This idea came to me last minute, but, well, I think Waltz's students would appreciate a treat after their lesson. I stick the set carefully into my bag as I head over to the tavern. When we arrive by carriage, I dismiss the two knights and head into the tavern alone. I expect to see Waltz and his students in the tavern when I step inside, but I'm greeted with a much more unexpected sight instead. And very dramatic music. Claude!
If it isn't the beautiful Ice Queen.
Claude, heir to the throne of Bugantia, casually reclines in a chair at the center of the room. He sits at a table with Delora, Cinna, and his younger brother, Prince Lance. Even though I had never met Prince Lance before, I recognize him as Claude's brother. The two of them had the same fiery red hair and similar features. But whereas Claude is full of crooked smiles and secrets, Prince Lance is earnest and honest. Dang! They look like twins! But, well, eye color Stephanie's a little bit shorter, but that's about it.
Come. You shouldn't call her that.
And in case everybody has forgotten, karma is an acronym. I think Lance is also an acronym as well. Prince Lance looks at me apologetically.
Ignore my brother, Your Majesty.
Really? I can't ignore how kira kira fwa fwa he is.
He literally has animated sparkles.
Prince Lance bows.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Queen Lucette.
It is nice to see you both, too. I walk over to their table. What is all of this? Emmeline said you were coming for the anniversary celebration. When did you get here?
A few hours ago. We parked the carriage a distance away as not to draw attention.
I'm not surprised that Claude would be the one to do the torture. And why exactly are you here?
How disheartening to get a cold reception from even you, Lucette.
Cinna mumbles something beneath his breath.
Of course you're an unwelcome guest. No one appreciates having a spontaneous visitor. Especially when that visitor interrupts something important.
Dang, Cinna, being so blunt.
Important? Were you not just hunting for insects in the forest?
Dang, the shade is like, this chapter's basically shade throwing. Just shade throwing.
Don't demean my hobbies.
Delora laughs. It's good to have you here, Lucette. Maybe you could stop these two from fighting every 2 minutes. She crosses her arms. The princeling here barged in while Waltz is in the middle of his lessons.
Lady Delora, you make it sound as if I was intruding. You know my intention was to come and catch up with my brother before I went to the palace. Whatever your intention, you still interrupted Waltz's lesson.
He's not wrong. Where's Waltz now? He took his students to the forest where the princess showed up. He said he needed quiet for today's lessons. Dolores suddenly seems to notice the bag I'm carrying. What's in the bag? What's in the bag?
What's in the bag?
It is something for Waltz. Claude leans over. He spots the chocolates inside before I could snatch the bag away.
You brought him some chocolate. How sweet.
That's for the students, Claude. There's a sudden sound. A low rumble that permeates the pleasant quiet. Cinna is smirking.
And you said you weren't hungry, Prince.
Oh, whoops. Previous
I
life.
think he was saying she said he could wait to eat till he got to the palace.
Yep, that's it. Figured I could wait until we were at the palace. Yep,
Yeah.
That was it. Prince Lance sighs.
We could have been there by now if you didn't insist on the stopover.
If I'd known the two of them were visiting today, I would have brought them something. Yeah, I don't think it'll be enough time to run to the bakery and come back. I glanced at the chocolate. It was meant to be for Waltz's students, but I wonder if it would be a small kindness to give them to the Almonte brothers. I wonder if it's Almonte or Almont. I'll have to look at the pronunciation later.
I mean, I feel like they're nobles. They probably have easier access to like chocolates and things. They can get them when they want. I feel like giving them to the kids is more significant still.
Yeah, makes sense. Alright, let's do that. No, I purposefully bought these for the students as a reward. Besides, Claude's hunger would not be sated with chocolate. I'm sure the kitchen staff will be more than happy to prepare something for you as soon as you arrive. Though I wish you had let me know you were coming so sooner. I am the queen after all. It is my diplomatic responsibility to welcome you. Claude shrugs.
You know I don't expect formalities or favors from you, Lisette.
That is true, they've been friends for a while, it makes sense, but on the other hand... And it would be foolish of him to expect those things in the first place. After all, you're speaking to a prince who came to a rundown tavern before even thinking to announce himself to the queen. Cinna scoffs.
I can't believe you're going to be king of the Brugantia someday.
Again, Cinna throwing shade. Cinna? Manners. While the two bicker, Claude leans toward me with a smile.
Waltz is in the clearing, just beyond the back door.
Classic Claude. He is very, very unexpectedly hilarious and often a trickster, but he comes in to save the day at the right time. Thank you, Claude. I glance between him and Prince Lance. You two are not going to disappear before I come back, yes?
You can rest assured we'll still be here. My secret adventure days are over.
Are you sure? No more Miss Karma, I take it? Claude smiles, a little wistfully.
I'm afraid not. I rather miss those days, though.
And he was pretty awesome doing it. Lance sighs.
I don't. While you were here with Angiel, we all thought you were dead.
Oh yeah, that's true. So, Claude's curse was the Beauty and the Beast curse. So basically while he was like handsome as a prince, unfortunately, it kind of brought a lot of people to him. So he would dress up as a woman to kind of stop that effect. But then it also kind of happened while he was dressed as a woman too, but not as significantly as when he was regularly a man. And then it gets even more complicated when somebody starts to fall for Claude, then he would turn into a beast. And it basically lives up to the Beauty and the Beast curse, where if you fall in love with him even in his beast form, that's when the curse breaks. But most people are often, unfortunately, too scared to go through with that, so it ends up not working out. But yeah.
Sounds like curses.
Yeah, but yeah, everybody in Brigantia thought that he was dead because he was cursed while he was visiting abroad.
Ah, yes, that part was unfortunate.
I leave the two brothers to reminisce as I head outside. The moon has risen by the time I step outside. Just as Claude said, I find Waltz and his students in the nearby clearing. Oh my gosh, how much time had passed? That's crazy. Like, I did not think it was going to be, like, nighttime by the time she showed up.
I mean, maybe the sun was setting, and, like now, these days, in, like, half an hour, it goes from daylight to dark, so.
That's true.
So, do you want to try it again, or shall we break for the night?
The children all let out a collective sigh. I feel so tired, I bet I'm going to fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. I'm so tired, I think I'll fall asleep right here. Waltz laughs. Oh.
I told you before not to strain yourselves. Magic takes a huge toll on the body.
That it does. You should be careful not to overwork yourself, Mr. Magician. Walt startles when I push through the trees. It's the Queen! Her Majesty is here! Hello, everyone. I see you're hard at work. I walk over to Waltz and kiss his cheek. The children mumble, hiding smiles and giggles behind their hands.
I didn't think you'd be able to make it.
I thought it would surprise you. I hold out the bag, which Walt's eyes with curiosity.
What's inside?
Why'd you pull it out and find out? I pull out the box of chocolates. Because you never know what you're gonna get. I thought I would buy something for all the hard-working witches here. Is that chocolate? The children scrabble toward me excitedly, thanking me in turn as I give them each a piece of chocolate. Thank you, Your Majesty. We're blessed to have a queen as kind and beautiful as you. Waltz beams at me. Oh.
We are, aren't we?
Oh.
And the queen can use magic too, just like us. She's very, very talented.
Huge bonus. You over-exaggerate. Waltz leans forward and whispers.
You need to stop being so humble. You're the Tenenbaum bearer.
I know, but still. Waltz's eyes fall again on the bag.
Is there a treat in there for me too?
There is, actually. He actually looks taken aback.
There is.
I laugh. Yes, it's something for you. His eyes light up.
Do I get to see it now?
It's an after-lesson treat, I'm afraid.
We're just in time then. We're just wrapping things up here.
Your Majesty! One of the young witches bounds forward. Can you show us your magic? Another child nods excitedly. I want to see Her Majesty's magic too! The thought of using my magic even just in front of children makes me feel suddenly embarrassed. I rarely flaunt my magic. I do not think I'm bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I do not possess the creativity Waltz does. Waltz snaps his fingers.
What if the princess gave us a preview for the lesson we're going to learn next time? The one you're all so excited about.
Barriers! Because as we know from the previous game, she had to learn how to do them over and over and over again. But that actually saved everybody's life at the end, so it kind of works out. Barriers we could use to be heroes. Barriers. They were the very first magic I learned from Waltz. I was impatient then, I remember. All I wanted was to learn how to use offensive spells. Waltz, you know I'm not a teacher.
You don't need to be. All I'm asking for is a demonstration.
Demonstration? Waltz nods, a soft smile on his face.
I'm going to use an attack, and you can show the children which barrier they should use to defend against it.
Oh god, I have to refresh myself on this one. So, you just want me to assess the situation and cast the right barrier?
Exactly.
I glance at the children who look at me hopefully. Alright, I suppose I could help you with your demonstration.
That's my little star.
Waltz blows me a kiss as he puts distance between us. I set my bag down by a nearby tree and move to stand before him.
Alright, let's begin, shall we?
Oh, I love this song. Because this is just a preview for the upcoming lesson, Waltz skims over the details. Okay, good. He'll list one over it here. He explains that there are two types of barriers. One that shields, and one that deflects. Powerful spells cannot be deflected, while weak spells can. Listening to him makes me feel nostalgic. Waltz turns to me after the explanation. Alright. Oh, whoa.
Alright, the Queen and I are going to put on a very small mock battle. She's going to use the right barrier to block my spell, and then I'll tell you why she used it. Sound good?
The young witches shout their agreement.
Alright, then.
Waltz begins to gather energy for a spell. I can tell by his relaxed posture and breathing that it's not a spell that requires great concentration. So I must use... Oh god.
So it's probably a weak spell, which means you should deflect it.
Yeah, I believe it's deflection for weak, if I remember correctly. But let me save before I do this. Because it's been like an eternity and a half since I did this. But I know deflection's for weaker spells, from what I can remember. I used to have like an acronym. I think I had an acronym the last time I did this. But yeah, let's do deflection. I gather my magic quickly at my fingertips and bring my deflector to life just as Waltz shoots his magic toward me. The sparkling energy reflects off the shield and bounces back toward him. Yep, we got it right. There we go. Waltz immediately dodges and the energy sweeps over the grass harmlessly. The children clap as Waltz takes a bow.
And there you have it. Now, can anyone tell me what sort of barrier the queen used?
A deflector because the magic came back?
That's right. It was a weak spell, so the queen could send my magic back at me.
Waltz shakes his head.
But remember, don't ever use deflectors unless you need to surprise your enemies to escape. Reflecting someone's magic back at them is dangerous. A barrier, even a small one, that ends up cracking is much safer for everyone.
The children nod and mumble amongst each other. Waltz looks up at me, his eyes creased in a smile.
You are perfect. Thanks, Lucette.
Of course. Waltz dismisses the children shortly after our demonstration. They bow and give their thanks as they leave the forest.
I'm glad you got to meet them all tonight, Lucette. They ask about you all the time. I know you're busy, but what if you came to these lessons when you had the spare time? You make a great assistant.
Hey, that's two things to assist for. Puppet show and teaching magical kids. That's cool.
Next will be magical puppet shows.
Whee! He pauses, then shakes his head.
No, I think I'd like to take a break and be your... Ugh. Sorry. No, I think I'd like to take a break and be your assistant for a change.
Aw. You're a far better teacher than I. Waltz raises an eyebrow.
That's not true. You were an excellent teacher growing up.
I mean, she did teach him to do puppets, so that is a good touche. He steps toward me, closing the distance between us.
You taught me how to make puppets for my shows, and how to perform for an audience.
At this point, my speech is becoming pretty redundant. But you were just performing for me back then. It's not the same thing as performing for an audience. Waltz reaches out to tuck a stray lock of hair behind my ear.
It doesn't matter. You taught me how to captivate.
If you say so. Waltz laughs.
Lowstar, you need to stop selling yourself short. The kids love you. You'd make an excellent teacher.
Yeah, I think Lisette's just putting a little bit too much pressure on herself, because she's basically trying to set an example that, in a way, she's kind of more interactive than her dad, but then also to prove that she's not her mom in terms of the corruption of the Tenebrarum, and then, on top of that, trying to maintain her connections with all her friends, but then making sure she doesn't sell herself short in her duties. It's a lot of things to juggle around. It's very much like a modern struggle in a way. Like, I mean, it's not really like royalty where you're born into this position, and especially if you're the firstborn, you're kind of expected to like have a certain way of behaving and you can't really stray away from the formula. But at the same time, trying to juggle all of it, it's a balancing act, for lack of better wording. I mean, I balance work and streaming and school, and sometimes I don't do it that perfectly. I mean, I haven't streamed this channel for about a week, I think. But I think it's really cool as well that people have still been tuning in, so I thank you for that. Anyway.
Yeah.
When I'm able, I will try to attend your lessons. And just like Lucette, when I'm able, I will do my best to stream on here as often as possible.
Yeah, life doesn't always make that easy, but we do try.
We do try!
We would all love that.
Thanks, Waltz. And thanks, audience. It's got meta real fast. I don't even try, it just happens. I glance back at the bag I set by the tree, then up at the moonlight coming through the trees. I think it is dark enough here for what I have planned. Ooh, I wonder if she's gonna do like the same firefly magic that Waltz does, but then it comes out of the box, and then like inside the box is the present, and whatever the present is. I mean, we're all thinking it's a ring, but let's see if it's right.
Is that?
I told you, I had an after-lesson treat. I bring the bag over to Waltz. There is a childish wonder in his eyes when he looks at me. It warms my heart like nothing else. Waltz has a heart of a child, a heart full of wonder and optimism. There is no one that can bring a smile to my face like he can. That is why, when he proposed to me a year ago, I did not hesitate to say yes. I've always wanted him here by my side. Have always wanted him, all of him, for me. I remembered the moment we stood here in this same clearing years ago, before facing Mother. Waltz told me darkness made a light glow brighter. He showed me that light. And now, I will show him that same light. I will show him what he means to me.
Little Star, you're keeping me in suspense here.
Game! You are keeping me in suspense here! Get on with it! I smile. And then, I snap my fingers. Oh! She did do the firefly spell like I thought. Oh snap. Okay. Little balls of light spring to life. In the darkness, they look like hovering fireflies. Waltz's eyes glimmer in that light as he looks around in wonder.
Oh, this is a familiar spell.
Of course it would be. It's not the only thing that is familiar. And I'm guessing the box is Neverland. It's gotta be Neverland. It can't be anything else. Let's see. I reach into my bag and take out the gift I prepared. His eyes widen when he sees it. Yes! It's Neverland! I called it!
Is that Neverland?
I slide an intricate key from out of my pocket. It's the only key that can open the box. Tinkerbell. I hand both the key and box to Waltz. Open it. Once upon a time, this box held Waltz's magic in it. Now, I like to think it holds his future. Waltz carefully takes the box and key from me. His eyes look misty, like he's holding back tears.
This box has so much history.
Sure does. It does. And its role in our story is not yet done. My heart flutters as Waltz slides the key into the box. I have never been as nervous as I am now, watching him. The box opens with a soft click, revealing the gift Rod has been holding for me. The thing that I've been trying to keep a secret from Waltz. Waltz it was so obvious! But I mean, I don't know, not everybody's like a ring type, so I had to be absolutely sure. But, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was more about, like, the lore of the world. I'm like, It's probably a proposal thing. I don't know if they use rings per se. Some cultures use like pendants or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Right, that's why I was hesitating about like the ring thing, even though the ring would be like the deal, you know? And like they said earlier, Waltz already proposed to Lucette. Said yes, it's just that like the wedding was kind of pushed down the line because all the things that are going on in the kingdom. So yeah, like you said, I thought it was gonna be like a pendant or something else like that. But let's see. But yeah. Oh! It's star-shaped!
It's got a little star on it.
It's so cute!
Is that what?
1 year ago, you proposed to me, Waltz Cresswell. You slid a ring onto my finger and promised me you would be by my side forever. In the months that passed, I kept pushing off the wedding date. I told you I was not ready for the future because I had to figure out the present first. What you said a few days ago made me realize that we cannot overthink things. In order to change the present, you must work toward the future. Days ago, I told you I never wanted to keep you to keep me in the dark. We both agreed to walk together toward the future hand in hand. Now, I want to show you I meant everything I said. With this ring. You bought me one, so it's only fair we seal the deal with two. How does hers look like? I want to see.
So, the wedding.
If they're gonna do it on the anniversary of Angielle being saved, that's gonna be a pretty interesting wedding, that's for sure. I knew it! It was the day before, but close enough. I have planned it for it to be the day before the anniversary celebration.
Is that...
Waltz's voice is uncharacteristically strained. I can see now that there are tears in his eyes. I wait with anticipation for him to say something. What is he gonna say? What is he gonna say? Instead, he leans forward and without preamble presses his lips to mine. No! Flashback! Flashback!
Aww.
His lips are soft and worn against my own, but resolute. When he kisses me, it feels like I am home. It feels like I've found my way to the light at the end of a dark path. Kissing Waltz like basking in sunshine. No! When I throw my arms around his neck and deepen our kiss, I feel as if half of me is clicked into place. My shadow, which had watched over me from a distance all these years, is here to stay. Oh my god.
You got caught her shadow, like Peter Pan.
Damn! With Waltz, I can feel as if I could face anything, even the uncertainty that is the future. This is too cute! Dang! They one-upped it! The Daisuke one-upped it! As his tongue glides over my lips, I let myself loosen in this kiss. In this moment, there is nothing but the two of us. Waltz takes an abrupt step backward and catches me in a hug when I fall into him. We both tumble to the ground, laughing.
Is that answer enough for you, little star?
He kisses me softly on the cheek, then on my jawline, beneath my ear. Each kiss makes me warmth blossom beneath my skin and heat pool in my stomach. I suppose so! I hope we can at least, like, see the wedding gown. I want to see that. Oh my god.
I would have waited forever for you to set that date, but...
He wraps his arms around me and kisses my forehead.
I can't put into words how happy it makes me that you asked me now. Like this.
He holds up his hand and a thrill goes through me at the sight of the ring on his finger.
I will treasure this always.
I mean, the fact that it's a star-shaped gem, that is just next level.
His little star will always be with him.
Exactly. Oh my god. And I will treasure you always. Waltz kisses me again, another soft, sweet kiss on the lips.
Thank you, little star.
Oh my god.
I love you. With all my heart.
Me too, Waltz. This is too sweet. The two of us lay there in each other's arms, gazing up at the stars between the canopies. Some time passes before reality begins to sink in. The Brigantian princes are still in the tavern, and everyone in the palace is probably worried for me.
Oh yeah, people.
Oh yeah, people!
Maybe we should go. We should go? Yes. Okay.
I sit up and pat down my hair with a crumple.
Time to get going.
Everyone is going to insist I start bringing knights with me at this rate. Waltz takes my offered hand with a smile and rises.
Let's head back to the margin then.
Everyone is exactly where I left them when I return. Delora looks almost relieved when we appear. Finally! It took you too long enough.
There's only so long we can sit here entertaining a spoiled prince before he gets on our last nerve.
And clearly he has not lost 1 ounce of shade.
Excuse me for boring you with my stories. Not everyone likes the chameleon stories, Karma.
Yeah, apparently, Claude's favorite animal is the chameleon, so and then he has like a kind of a certain spiritual attachment to it. It's really interesting. I'm gonna have to like rewatch his arc to kind of remember like what his connection is to that, but it's really interesting. Walt suddenly looks intrigued.
You like chameleons, Claude? They're like, oh no, don't get him started. I do. Do you like them?
Please don't encourage him, Walt. Senna glances at me as the three of them talk about chameleons. Whatever those are.
Dolores said you had something you wanted to ask me earlier.
Oh, right. The anniversary speech. I bring my proposal to Cinna, who, as Delora predicted, is agitated I did not bring it up sooner.
I'm offended you didn't invite me to do a speech last year.
That's because you were. Wait, no, he wasn't. Never mind. I forgot. I barely knew you last year. The fairy crosses his arms and looks moodily at the table.
I appreciate you asking, I suppose. I'll make some time to give a speech.
And hopefully some more humility, my gosh! But he is blushing though, so it's working. Thank you, Cinna. Cinna just responds with a shrug. His eyes flick to Waltz, who is still speaking animatedly with Claude about chameleons. Which honestly, considering like both of them have like transformation spells, Claude's I guess in this case with Beauty and the Beast, and then Waltz with Peter Pan, it kind of makes sense why they would be like, oh, let's talk about chameleons.
I see you gave him your ring.
How did you?
Don't underestimate how perceptive I am.
I wouldn't be surprised if Delora told him, though. He looks at Waltz thoughtful, and then he does a strange thing. He smiles.
I'm happy for you both.
A fairy with compassion, with a side of snark? Who would have thunk? Thank you. This has always been my greatest wish. It is wonderful to see it fulfilled. Cinna crosses his arms, looking thoughtful.
A wish, hmm? Do you know us fairies can grant wishes?
Oh yeah, they can. I totally forgot that was a thing for them. You can? Have you not read your fairy tales, Lucette? Clearly somebody still hasn't read. Because, context, Lucette, because of the fairy tale curses, she was basically banned from reading fairy tales from her mother initially, and then because of her mother's influence, she in essence just never got the interest to read them herself until she got cursed herself. Which is really interesting. Anyway, Cinna nods.
The rules have changed since the Great War, but every fairy can grant one wish.
Which kind of makes sense, considering all the things that have happened since those said fairy tales were published.
I've always thought wishes were foolish. Why do humans wish for something they can accomplish on their own? Achieving something by your own merits is always more satisfying.
That is true. On the other hand... yeah, I don't know. Why do we wish for stuff?
I think in this context, you would generally wish for something you feel like you couldn't accomplish on your own. It's like outside of it.
True. That is true. I'll have to think about this one.
Either you feel like you wouldn't you feel like you couldn't manage it without the wish, or it's important enough that you want to guarantee it with the wish. Those are the two settings I can imagine.
Mm-hmm. Or something that would feel impossible even if you worked hard at it.
Yeah, or something that might be possible, but is a big enough factor that you want to guarantee it.
I'm gonna have to think about this one. That is very true.
What are you two discussing over here? I mean, I've just been talking about chameleons. They're great. You know about chameleons?
Did you know about chameleons? You like hot dogs?
I like hot dogs. Nothing important. Now, are you going to escort the princess back to the palace, or...?
Yes. Claude, Prince Lance, let us go. We're on our way out when Delora calls my name. Lucette? Congratulations. For what? You didn't think I would notice the ring on Waltz's finger. I mean, come on. Like, with what you picked, who wouldn't notice? Who wouldn't notice? I hope you plan on inviting us to the wedding. How could I not? You were the one who insisted we put ourselves first for a change. Delora grins. I'm always here to remind you of the important things. You and Cinna both. Who knew watching over two bearers would be so difficult?
You act as if you're my mother.
Delora snorts. Just remember you said that, not me. I mean, she technically is a mother figure to both of them. And again, who's counting? Cinna doesn't say anything to that, just rolls on his heels and stomps away. Kids. I shake my head, smiling. Thank you, Delora, for everything. Thank you for all your hard work. In the end, you turned out to be a pretty good Tenebrarum bearer. And you turned out to be a pretty good mentor. I will never get tired of hearing those compliments from you. Delora smiles at me gently. Good night, Lucette. Good night, Delora. And oh yeah, like Delora and Lucette were kind of like early BFFs because Delora disguised herself as one of Lucette's dolls for the longest time, so they would always talk to each other in the beginning.
Huh.
And Delore was the one who put the Cinderella curse on her. So...
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, considering once upon a time Delore was BFFs with her mom, Hilda, and with Parfait. Well, Parfait she still was friends with her, but like they were like a friendship triangle for a long time. So like she had history with these people. So it was kind of a big deal for her to like see like, oh wait, I know where Lucette's going. I gotta stop it in its tracks before it gets that bad. Boom, Cinderella curse. I leave the tavern that night with a heart so light it feels like it could take off flying any moment. Ooh, another chapter! Another chapter! Chapter 5. Past and Future. We are here on this day to unite two kindred souls. The minister's words ring loud and clear in the calm silence. His voice is an anchor, rooting me in the surreal moment I have dreamed of for months. I wonder, is Waltz as nervous as I am? The minister claps his book shut. Before I proclaim you joined by marriage, must seal this pact with I had to!
It will bring us together today.
Before I proclaim you joined by marriage, thou must seal this pact with a kiss. I step towards the altar and hold out my hands. Waltz reaches for mine at the same time. Oh my god!
Oh.
Time seems to stop when I'm standing before him. I forget entirely of the small audience we have and focus entirely on Waltz. Also, side note, this is such like a gorgeous spot for a wedding, honestly. Just wow. His smile was so bright it makes my heart hitch.
Hey, Little Star.
Hello, Waltz. It's hard to believe we're finally here.
You think so? I knew it was only a matter of time. The past, the present, everything has led us to this moment. And this is only the beginning.
I divert my gaze briefly, embarrassed. You really think I would be a good mother?
You will be a good mother. You excel at everything you do.
Oh! I feel like I'm only able to do my best because you're by my side.
Likewise, Little Star.
I love you, Waltz.
I love you too, Lucette.
We seal our declaration with a kiss. I barely hear the roaring applause in the audience. In this moment, all I hear is Waltz's promise, echoing in my heart. I love you. This, I know, is the truest love I will ever feel. I hold on to this moment for as long as I can, knowing I'll remember it for the rest of my life. Wait, she wasn't What? What? Okay, wait.
What's happening?
What's happening? Okay. That did legitimately just happen, right? Okay.
Okay, I think this is the day after the wedding.
I hope so. I hope so. Because I am too emotionally fragile for this to be like, psych, it was all a dream. Anyway, my mind is fuzzy when I wake the next day. Okay, good, it was real.
Yeah.
It was I've had too many weird dream sequences and games. They're like, this is too good to be true. And then all of a sudden, like, something pops up in the middle of the ceremony and they take care of it in the middle of it. It's like, no, it legitimately just happened. You do not have to hold your breath anymore. You are fine.
And then another Princess Bride reference. Like, just kidding, the wedding was a dream.
was all a dream.
Except in that case, it was a bad wedding, so we were happy it was a dream.
Boo! Yeah, side of that lady was legitimately terrifying. Like, honestly. Yeah, I think it's also because I've played so many games nowadays that there's just so many psych outs that's like, please don't let this be another one, it's too good. Okay, we are good.
Just kidding, you got the bad ending.
Ah! Last night's celebration was exhausting. Wonderful, but physically draining. The last thing I remember is nearly falling asleep in the garden, and Waltz carrying me to bed before anyone noticed. Waltz? I turned to see him lying beside me, throwing a strand of my hair around his finger.
Good morning, little star.
Husband and king of Angiel, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends. How long have you been up?
Just a few minutes.
He smiles.
You're talking in your sleep.
And you didn't bother to wake me up?
It's cute. I would've, but it sounded like you were having such an interesting conversation with Dream Me.
Dream? You? I pulled out of bed horrified. You're teasing me. Waltz props himself up on his elbow and arches an eyebrow.
Am I?
If you will not tell me what I said, then I will assume you are lying.
Well, it sounded like the two of us were in the bath and you...
Never mind. I decided I'm not interested. Waltz laughs when I throw a pillow at him.
What a wonderful way to start our married life.
Oh my god. I'm surprised, like, yeah, they actually just got married. Yes, how very regal of us. The king and queen of Angiel to be throwing pillows at each other in the morning. My first proclamation, throw pillow at husband. Waltz looks at me wide-eyed. I only realized why belatedly. What? You married a queen. It's only a matter of time until your crowning ceremony. You have been studying for this for months, remember? Waltz falls back on the bed, arm over his eyes. He laughs, a little breathlessly, which is really interesting, because, like, I kind of assumed it would be kind of like, he would be kind of similar to Prince Philip, except in this case, Waltz, last I checked, does not have any land claims anywhere else, so... Now it makes me a little more curious about, like, how Claude and Lucettes' wedding is going to go, because he's the crown prince of Brigantia, she's the crown princess of Angiel, in that storyline in particular. Like, her dad's still alive and all that. So it kind of makes me wonder, is it going to be like the traditional thing where, like, she switches over to his kingdom, he switches over to hers, or they just have an alliance kind of thing, where they just all stay between the two. They're both independently rulers of their own kingdoms. That's what I'm curious about.
Maybe they'll, join the lands and, I don't know, build a new castle in the middle.
Maybe. Waltz falls back on the bed, arm over his eyes. He laughs, a little breathlessly. Also, get well soon, Prince Philip. Anyway.
Me, the king of Angiel. Who'd have ever thought?
I think you would look excellent in a crown. I settle myself on the edge of the bed. Waltz sits up and runs a hand through his hair.
You weren't the only one having dreams last night.
Oh? What were you dreaming of?
The past.
Oh! He looks at me questioningly, as if asking for permission to speak. I fold my hands on my lap and look at him expectantly.
It was a dream, but it was also a memory. Myth was in it.
Oh man, Myth! He sighs.
When we were both taken as our apprentices to Hilda, she used to pit us against each other. It was how she trained us.
It's like no wonder that Myth hated him. Myth is the witch I used to know as Mithros. He was one of my father's closest advisors, and a traitor. I do not remember him growing up. Waltz tells me that it's because Mother kept Myth close. Few knew of his existence because he was kept closer than the palace walls. Sometimes I cannot help but wonder what would have happened if I'd been able to befriend him. Would I have been able to save him from Mother?
In the dream memory, a burn in its hand.
Waltz pinches the bridge of his nose.
I remember I felt terrible about it. Witches can't heal, but I tried to convince him to let me help him treat the wound.
Didn't know that.
He refused, and then Hilda came in, and...
She told him he deserved it, didn't she? Waltz nods.
She said it was his punishment for being weak. Worse, she praised me for landing a hit on him.
That would also explain the gloves. Mother used to say similar things to me. She believed only the strong had the right to survive.
I felt awful about it. That night, I came to your room. It was all I could do to keep from crying. I don't think you noticed, but you were awful perceptive. You noticed how quiet I was, and then you grabbed my hands and asked me if I wanted to help you make a puppet.
You remembered that in a dream?
Again, back to Peter Pan. Boy, why are you crying? I'm not surprised. The moment was very important to me, you know? It was the first time I felt like you'd let me into your heart.
I sat close enough to lean into him. When was it that you started letting me into your heart? Waltz wraps an arm around my shoulders and kisses the top of my head.
You wiggled your way into my heart the first time I met you. You were just that bright, little star.
He sighs softly into my hair.
I can't help but think about my students when I think of Myth. He was a great student with so much potential, but Hilda was ruthless. She didn't know how to teach empathy.
Oof. Yeah, like, now I would love if Daisuke made a prequel game which covered the story of Parfait, Delora, and Hilda in a lot more detail. Because, like, I heard, like, it's implied with a lot of the dialogue in the first game, at least, that, like, the way Hilda was before the Great War, she was completely different compared to who she became later and who Waltz and Myth trained under.
I wish I could have saved him from himself before he became too corrupted.
Oof. Oh, man. Oof. Yeah, because, like, I know even, like, Lucette felt very uncomfortable with him, because, like, he just felt off somehow. Like, even though, like, she, like, at the time, she was also kind of under Hilda's control at the time, she, in a way, still didn't feel right about Myth.
I'd be inclined to say you can make a difference now.
Same. Because of the kids?
Yeah, and especially saying there's nothing you could have done. That remains true either way.
Yeah. But I mean, at least like, this one gives me more positive
spin on it.
Yeah,
you give him hope towards something instead of just being like, yeah, the past sucks, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
I wish Myth was still alive so that was possible.
Yeah, I don't remember. Did Myth die in every single ending? I have to recollect myself on that. But I don't think he did. I know he didn't die in I think he at least didn't die in Rod's ending. But I don't know about the other ones. I shake my head. You said it yourself. You think about Myth every time you teach. You teach because you want those witches to have the education you both never did, right? This reminds me of Deadpool 2. Thankfully, it's not too much of a spoiler for the rest of the film, but one of Wade's biggest concerns was that he would basically be as bad as his dad, if not worse. And Nesta was like, you're not going to be like your dad because you're actually way more aware of what's going on. So you're going to be fine. And that was just in, like, the intro part, so that's... Yeah, I wanted to point a Deadpool 2 reference, honestly. There were so many excuses for the previous episodes, but I wanted to do it in this one, so... There you go, now I have an excuse to watch Deadpool 2.
Alright.
Why are you looking at me like that? Waltz smiles.
You know me better than I know myself, Lucette. You're right, as always. I can't do anything to change the past, but I can make sure my students have a proper education.
Woo!
And that they learn to love magic as it should have been loved, as a means to protect and assist others, not to destroy things.
Yay! If anyone could teach them that, it's you, Waltz. I have faith that your future, our future, will be a bright one.
Especially now that we're married.
Woo! Waltz grins when I blush. I thought it never mattered to you that we weren't married.
It didn't, but now that we are, I fully intend on gushing about you as my wife to everyone I know.
Ha ha ha! I elbow him in the side. Please don't. I look up, my gaze snagging on the clock. Oh, we are extremely late for breakfast. Why did none of the servants call for me?
Well, we had a big day yesterday and have the anniversary today. Everyone probably thought it would be good to let us rest when we could.
Oh, right. The anniversary. I am suspiciously. I hope you did not plan any grand event for today.
Nothing like that, but I'm still convinced you're going to love it.
Walt stands and holds out a hand. Ooh, that rhymes.
Shall we head out?
Yes. And you know what? That'll be a good space of suspense. What's going to happen during the anniversary party? What kind of speech will she deliver? And more importantly, how will Waltz look in a crown? I had to go there.
Apparently, you look great.
Apparently.
You know, the foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Blatant foreshadowing right there.
But yeah, oh my gosh, just again, so much happened in this part. Just whoa. The one thing I will be relieved though is that at least it's not like psych, it's a dream. No, they're actually husband and wife. And then in a moment, Waltz will be king. So yeah. Not a bad way to end an episode, huh?
Yeah, not at all.
So yeah, oh my gosh. So, as I mentioned earlier, whoops, need to correct that. So, part 4 will be coming up at some point. You know what? Maybe I should start back up with Prince of Persia Sands of Time. So, more of that coming up, as well as Barony on Mondays. So, the stream will be hosted on my channel, so you can check it out on Toby's channel too. And yeah, here's all my social media in case you want to check out all my other stuff. TikTok and Twitch are my most updated stuff, as well as YouTube. I upload the stuff like right after the stream's over. So if you want to check out that stuff after all of this, feel free to do so. But yeah, so tomorrow I am thinking of doing a live reaction of the first shots of the Perseverance landing. Because I think now they pretty much compiled most of the 4K footage / photos. So, I mean, if you tuned in to the live stream on Thursday, I believe is when the rover landed, I did some commentary. It was a lot of fun to talk with everybody, so thank you for tuning in on that. So we are going to continue our exploration into Barsoom. So yeah, be prepared for some more John Carter 2 pitches, people. I am an unashamed fan. Never be normal.
There are too many normal people in the world.
And being normal was vastly overrated.
What fun is there in making sense? We could go on all day with quotes, but...
Yeah. I don't know about you, I feel like sleeping in. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. I hope you have an awesome weekend. Stay warm out there if you're in a really cold area. Otherwise, stay in a comfortable temperature that is homeostasis. Our biology word of the day. And, of course, may your heart be your guiding key. Take care, everybody. Bye!
Bye!